Hey, what's going on, Star Citizen World? It's your boy Raptor Spiritus. I'm coming back with you for another review. Now, this particular one is basically talking about trade-offs because the Starlancer TAC just dropped in the PTU for people who already own it. Since 4.1.1 went to live, they wanted to let people who already had the TAC get to experience it before Invictus. Now, some of the people have posted videos where they actually went out there and put it through its paces, that they were actually in combat and fighting, and they were like the only ship almost. There was like two people, but it was in a swarm of people. It's one of the missions, I think, where it's go get the Polaris or something, and they were getting ate up by like hammerheads and like fighters. And like this, I think there were some unrealistic expectations about what this ship is supposed to be like. So this ship, it says combat, but if you looked at how it's advertised and what it's for, it's like a support ship. It's a ship that's supposed to drop people off on the ground and provide air-to-ground support. That is the point of it, right? So one of the gripes that they were saying was that it's not fast enough, is what they were saying. That was one of them. Now, again, in Star Citizen, we always talk about trade-offs because you can't have a one-all be-all. It doesn't make sense to do that. There's got to be trade-offs. So they were comparing it to the Starlancer Max, which was faster. Well, here's the reason why. So you look at the Max. The Max has 13 main thrusters, okay? And then the TAC has 11. It's going to be a little bit slower. It's just the way it is. Trade-offs, right? Where you get all that extra firepower, the two dual size 5 side side guns. There's a word I was looking for, but I couldn't remember what it was. Whatever. And it still has the same turrets on the top, the 4 guns on the side for the pilot, and it has missiles in the back. In case something's coming at you, the co-pilot can shoot missiles and help evade so you guys can get away. And then it has a hangar for a support snub fighter, which is for the Fury. Now, of course, we haven't done the will it fit yet kind of videos yet, but I'm pretty sure you can fit more than just a Fury in there. But we'll see, because they said you can fit 2 snugly in there if you're a good pilot. So that's kind of given way to say maybe you could fit 2 Furies, and that way you have actually 2 snub fighters for support. And I know you can fit 2 Furies in the bottom main loading area in the back of the TAC. I've seen someone, they put 2 Furies, one off to each side. So it has space to give support vehicles. So what am I getting at? The point is that the TAC has a lot more of a combat advantage. So it doesn't need to be fast. It just needs to be crewed, and it just needs to have a good captain or leader to kind of direct the group to do what needs to be done for it to survive. Obviously, if you're going against hammerheads and like 4 fighters, it's going to be rough if you don't have other people or other ships supporting you, like those snub fighters out there helping you. So yes, it's a little bit slower. So, but then let's look at the components. The TAC has, for the power plant, it has 1 size 3. Cooler is 1 size 3. And then it has 2 size 3 shields. If we look at the Max, it has 1 size 3 shield, 2 size 2 power plants, and then 2 size 2 coolers. The Max is for cargo hauling only. It is meant to get your cargo to its destination. It needs speed. That's the point of it. It is not meant to be around hanging out and getting dirty and grimy in the thick of things while bullets are flying everywhere. That's not its purpose. So it, of course, is going to have a little more speed. Again, the point is trade-offs, and that's the one thing that CIG is trying to do, is to make sure when they make variants that there's a trade-off for each variant. And that's the one for the Starlancer Max and TAC. So I'll leave it at that. But they were kind of, I think sometimes people have unreal expectations of what they're expecting out of ships, and there has to be some bit of difference. It has to. So the other thing I'll move into is talking about the Asgard and the Valkyrie. So the just for, looking at the stats just off the rip, right? For it looks like gun DPS for the Asgard is, I think it says it has 1176, right? For the Valkyrie, it's saying it has 1444. That also, depends on the guns that's on there and everything else. But as I said, there's trade-offs. The Valkyrie, I believe, is, let's see, it's got 6 main thrusters, and I do believe the Asgard has the same. Yeah, so it has all the same as far as maneuvering wise, but and people are saying that now the Asgard makes the Valkyrie obsolete. Well, let's see. HP for the Valkyrie, hull HP is 90,000. Hull HP for the Asgard is 77. Again, there's trade-offs. You're coming in to fly in heavy support vehicles. You can fit a ballista in there. You can fit all the ground vehicles in this thing, whereas you can't fit it in the Valkyrie. So it would stand to reason the Valkyrie would need a little bit more armor. The other thing is that the Valkyrie has, when the doors slide open and those Gatling guns come out, the Valkyrie has 2 on each side, whereas the Asgard has 1 on each side. When it comes to the pilot controlled guns, for the Asgard, you have 6 size 3s that are for the pilot. The turret on the bottom, and then there's 2 dual size 3s on either side of the cockpit. And whereas the Valkyrie, you get the turret at the bottom of the nose, just like the Asgard, which are size 3, but you get 2 size 4s on the wings that are also can be remote turreted by people using them as remote turrets. Then you also on the Valkyrie have a turret at the top, turret at the bottom. Whereas the Asgard, you have a missile rack at the top and a size 4 turret at the bottom. So initially they have a lot of similarities when it comes to firepower. It is just distributed differently, right? The Valkyrie would need more people because, again, it's a personnel transport versus the Asgard, which is a heavy ground vehicle transport. It is different. And so this is what I'm saying is, again, there's trade-offs for everything. You have more hull HP, and the Asgard is more tankier than in the Valkyrie than the Asgard, because it has more people and it's carrying personnel versus something that's carrying, ground vehicles. It doesn't have as much armor. It's, not really going to stick around. It's really kind of just to drop in and get back up in the air. So again, it's called trade-offs for what they are. And I'm just going to take a quick look at the components, because I know they have the same. Yeah, they have the same shield components. They're both size 2s, because they're basically the same ship in a way, just configured a little bit differently. And then the Asgard's a smidge longer, and it has where they've made the internal loading bay a lot taller inside and a little bit wider to fit those big vehicles. But we have the same shields. If you're looking at it, whereas the Asgard has same power plant, but the difference is the Asgard's got 3 coolers versus the Valkyrie that has 2. And again, with the Asgard, 6 forward-facing guns, right, for the pilot, which is cool, and 1 turret for the bottom that's a size 4 for another crew member. The Valkyrie, you have 2 turrets, 1 on top, 1 on bottom, so you have more firing arcs. And then also, if you felt like it, you have the 2 size 4s either for the Valkyrie that you can shoot as a pilot, just front facing, or you can actually have 2 people in either turret and using those size 4s. So you have more opportunity to shoot more things. And of course, the 4 Gatling guns on the inside when the doors open up. For the Valkyrie, 2 more. There's 2 more on each side. That's 4 more Gatling guns that's firing outside the ship. The ship has more possibilities to defend itself versus the Asgard, where it's just 6 facing front, one arc at the bottom, and it now it does have a rack of, I do believe it's 16 size, is it size 3s on the top? Let me quickly look. I apologize. Uh, yeah, 16 size 3s missiles on the top of it, whereas the Valkyrie has none. Does that make the Asgard better than the Valkyrie? No. It just means they're two different variants with two different jobs. That's all it's saying. You know, it's not saying that one, it's not making one obsolete versus the other one. You know, they're both drop ships, but one is dropping people, one is dropping vehicles. That's all that is. So I just wanted to kind of come on briefly and make that quick little throw out. There are other ships like this. Like I said, there's always trade-offs. The one that I had the most problem with was the Guardian, where the Guardian QI and the regular Guardian really just didn't make any sense. There's really no trade-off for either one. I think the Guardian QI was like a minutiae, like a smidgen less maneuverability, but it was so minute you really couldn't tell. So that's not enough to give it its own identity versus the regular Guardian. Where, in my opinion, as I said it before, I think that the regular Guardian should have got size 6 guns on it to give it just some little bit of oomph. Maybe a little bit more, maybe bigger missiles. And then, whereas the QI had the size 5s and whatever missile loadout it has, but it has the interdictor, the quantum entanglement. And then, of course, now the Guardian MX, which has 4 size 4s, missiles, I think it's 24 missiles on it, but there is no bed. Trade-offs, guys. Trade-offs. That's all there is to it. So, like, when we start getting all these variants and stuff, like, let's not look at it as, oh, this one's making this one obsolete. What are you getting in return? What's the trade-off on it? What does this have that the other one doesn't have? Some of it's going to be where the whole HP isn't going to be as big, where the speed may be different. I mean, it's the whole point of it is trade-offs. You might be getting guns and armor, but your shit's going to be slow, versus less guns, less armor, and you're going to be faster, which means, you're trying to get away. You're not trying to stick around for the combat. You're trying to get in, get out, and bounce, versus trying to do damage. So let's keep that in mind, guys. But I'm going to also be gone for a bit, so I will not be making a video for the next 2.5 weeks. So I will just say this: keep it easy in the verse, have fun, let's enjoy being citizens of the PU, and I'll see you guys in the next one. It's your boy Raptor Spiritus signing off, and if you like my content, please comment for sure. I always love comments, and I will reply, and definitely hit that subscribe button. Take it easy, guys.